You got to keep it on. Good morning, good evening,
good afternoon,
and good afternoon. Welcome today to the Echo Chamber, Echo Innovations discussion, Halloween edition. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so glad you decided to take a little bit of time today to chat with us. Today we're talking about a couple things, the stories we tell ourselves, and being relatable. And I want to start off by talking about this guy, Casey Neistat. You know who Casey Neistat is?
No.
I sent you some of his videos. So he's like the blogger guy, right?
Blogger.
So you see Casey, and Casey made millions of dollars online. He started off with a video, and he's got a couple of start-offs where he had this thing with iPod where they wouldn't replace the battery, and then he has this one video about the bike lanes in New York. And people look at Casey and they're like, man, I could vlog. I can make a ton of money. And you research Casey a little bit, and he went from this Chaba, hey, okay, you can
wants to play
me on it too.
Chaba,
but he went from this guy who had experience. He had an HBO series on HBO before he became a vlogger, and he was a filmmaker before he decided to start filming himself. But the narrative you see is this dude filming himself and people watching him, and they're like, oh, I could do that. So he inspired all these other people to go and vlog, but they don't have the cinematography that he has. They don't have the cool transitions where he's like, he hits the thing and then it goes on and then you got something different up, you know? And so
he does not have this wig.
He did a couple wigs. A lot of it is like he'll take the shades and he'll spray paint them white and he scratches them off, and it's kind of cool. But I like that because people relate to Casey. They see just this guy in New York filming his life, telling a story. And that's relatable.
Yep.
And then, so I like that. I'm going to step it out further. And you see people on Instagram, these folks that are like, they talk like they're just normal people and they build this story, right? Yeah, you're very normal with your tomato hair. No, more Shaun White.
Shaun White?
Yeah, Shaun White. Before the sexual harassment.
Oh, yeah. Pre-sexual.
Pre-sexual harassment, when he was like the flying tomato.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, anyway.
Yeah. But anyhow, so you see these folks, and they tell their stories that it's always this, what they overcame and how they overcame these things to be more relatable to folks. So people look at this person and they're like, okay, yeah, I've suffered depression. I've gone through some struggles in life. You know, like Les Brown. Les Brown is like, his whole thing is like, well, if you won't wear the wigs, it's getting kind of hot.
Yes, it's weird. It's messing with me. It's messing with me bad.
I'll wear the tomato hair. Redheads have more fun.
Yes. Ginger ninjas.
Ginger ninjas?
Yep.
I don't know if are you legally allowed to say that?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Well,
how did Ginger tell me that?
I don't think you can call them that. No, you're not allowed. So anyways, So being relatable in like a famous space, I see that, but let's walk it into more like our space, the not famous people space, to talk through, okay, how do you make yourself relatable to an online audience? What do you do?
Tell them your story. That would be easy, right?
But that's what everybody does. That's all there is to it.
So everybody wants to hear that somebody's going through the same stuff that they're going through. So there's a lot of people that are relatable online because you start with, hashtag COVID, it's crazy. What have you dealt with it? How many interactions have you had that were awkward?
Are you doing a voice?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, it's weird.
Why is it
What's your COVID voice?
I like COVID. I don't know. Because we all can relate to what we're going through right now. We can relate to that. We can relate to, everybody knows what 6 feet means. Everybody knows social distancing and all that stuff. Everybody knows you've had those awkward interactions where you're like, you want to shake somebody's hand, but you don't know if they're cool with the handshake or not. So it's always like, well, you're an elbow bump right now? What are we doing? So everybody's gone through that. Everybody's dealt with that. Yeah. You know, there are people right now that watch this video and go, those guys aren't socially distant. I can't watch this anymore. I mean,
So 3.5 feet, maybe 4 feet.
3.5 feet.
Just don't sneeze. So I was in a wedding, and as part of the wedding, they had these bands. It was super cool. They had green bands, red bands, and yellow bands.
Yep.
And that was like, it wasn't like put your keys in a bowl type thing. It was different. But they had little signs behind it, like if you're good with hugging and fist bumps and stuff like that, you put on a green band. Yeah, like you're good without any distance. The yellow bands were you're cautious, so it's not bring it in for a real one. Like get it in there. You want to stay spaced out, but you can have a face-to-face conversation. And then the red ones were like, if you're not masked, let's stay away. And I'm, hey, how you doing?
Yep.
But it was a good visual indicator of being able to get through some of those difficult social situations. So regardless if you are for mask, anti-mask, have you seen anybody approach someone else in a public space that felt very strongly one way about somebody wearing a mask? So you have Glenda who comes in and she sees this gentleman in the grocery store not wearing a mask. Have you seen that interaction happen between two strangers?
Yes.
How did that go?
It's always entertaining. It's always funny to me.
Good or bad? Like, is it like nobody got punched in the face, did they?
No one got punched in the face, but it's always that,
Oh, we gotta lighten this up. Go ahead, keep talking. Now we're good.
It's the look of disdain. That's what you get first.
Okay.
And if the person has had, their 3 shots of espresso and or shot of tequila that morning, then they may confront them. They may have a conversation, not really a conversation, like, do you know we're all under mask mandates right now? What are you doing? But usually it's just a look of disdain.
That voice again.
That was the voice.
That was the COVID voice.
It's the COVID voice. The COVID voice comes back in.
The COVID warrior.
It is the COVID warrior.
Oh, okay. So instead of Captain Planet, Captain COVID.
Captain COVID.
Well, that'd be like pro-COVID, wouldn't it?
Pro-COVID.
Pro-COVID.
Pro-COVID. But if you're pro-COVID, that means you like it?
I don't know.
I don't know exactly.
This conversation took a weird turn.
Weird.
Anyhow, thank you, number one, for joining us. Don't know who you are. Throw something in the chat, and we can chat. Otherwise, you just can watch a weird guy in tomato hair and some nice shades talk with my beautiful assistant.
Sean White.
Sean White.
Pre-harassment case. All day.
Yes. Have you seen the meme about the as a former gifted child?
No.
People come up to you and like, what are you supposed to be? And you're like, I'm supposed to be a lot of things.
Yeah.
That cracked me up. The first time I saw it, I was dying. So anyways, before COVID, how would you establish being relatable with a group very quickly? What would you do? Would you do anything on purpose? Was it a purposeful act that you took?
One of the tricks that I've seen in being relatable, you talking about like, let's determine the context. Are we talking about in front of a class of people that you're sharing things with, or you're talking about you walk into a club, there's a group of friends that are all hanging out, how do you relate to them?
I'm not really a club guy, so it's probably a bar first. So how do you, say you go to a bar, group, like a group gathering area, somebody there you don't know, how do you set it up to be relatable so they feel comfortable? What are you doing?
That's good. You encourage interaction. How do you encourage interaction? I've seen you're either a great connector or you have people in your entourage that are great connectors. Hey, I hear Blake likes red hair, man. He likes red hair over there. So then you relate them to the
connections.
Connections, yeah. Connections. So you make connections.
So how do you become that guy that, because have you ever met somebody when you went out and like you felt like you were that person's best friend and you just met them? Have you ever had that happen where it just felt super comfortable, like the conversation was just flowing through and it was just it was easy. There wasn't any forcedness around that. What were the feeders to create that situation?
They made it about you. They made the conversation, they made the interaction about you. So that person didn't tell you anything about themselves. It all starts with something centered around you.
Okay.
Like, hey man, you have a family? Asking person. So here comes the hard part. I've seen you do this, and you're really good with this. You ask questions that walk the line of being personal questions, but aren't all the way personal.
What does that look like?
Oh man, I knew you were going to do that to me.
Johnny Cash style walk the line.
how's your family? I know that could be. I'm trying to think what would be a good one. You help me. You're good at that. You're better at this.
Well, like, so Dale Carnegie will walk through this whole process of you talk about maybe where they live, maybe talk about family, so there's different stages. So people can relate to you on where they live, where they grew up. They can relate to you on family. They can relate to you on hobbies and sports. And the way the Dale Carnegie paradigm is at the very end, you maybe bring up work. Because that's the first thing people want to bring up. Oh, hey, Drew, hey, what do you do?
Yeah.
Me, what do? I go into work every day. I hate my job. No, I don't hate my job. I really like my job. But, that's the first thing people hop to.
Why?
Because it's easy. Most people work.
Why?
Because they like to get paid. They like to eat food.
Why do people always go to, what do you do?
Because it's an easy question that they've heard a million times. It's something they've been asked and conditioned so many times on. They're finally like, well, it's easy. Well, I'll throw it out to you because I'm sure you know that answer, right?
It's also a social barometer. You can just establish your
status checking. Get out of here.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I mean,
it's also
you're right.
That lets me know who's the hierarchy of this conversation. Who's in the hierarchy?
So is an entire conversation
establish dominance?
I know you're not joking, but kind of joking based on your tone, but I know you're not. So it's, where are we in relation to one another? Huh. I like that.
Why don't you just lick your lips like that? That was very provocative.
Because they're kind of dry. It's starting to get cool. So
that was like a LL Cool J.
I was trying to feel if I need some chapstick, so I'm good. So it's status checking by asking what somebody does. So how do you feel when somebody dodges that question? Are they dodging the status, or are they trying to be memorable?
I feel like they're dodging the status because of it.
So wait, let's play this scenario out.
What do you do?
I'm a billionaire.
Sweet. How'd you make your billions? So I
trust fund.
I'm dirty. Like if someone throws out something like that, I go highly interrogative real quick in a cool way. I'm like, Rob, how'd you make your billions? Oh, trust fund. What'd your dad do? Because I'm trying to pick apart the lie. I'm like, first of all, you're full of crap. And I don't know why I do that. That's a great.
What if you're like, I'm homeless? No money.
Man, what do you do? Like homeless. That sucks.
I do literally nothing for my job. People mail me checks.
I have a GoFundMe.
Okay. I have an OnlyFans.
You would make money with your OnlyFans with that wig on.
The wig and the beard, I don't know if it works.
I just like the wig and the burger. Here we go.
It's a single malt. So as a status checker, so I mean, you hear people get coached on when somebody asks, "What do you do?" and you'll hear people that will say they're great at it, be like, "I help people just like you avoid paying as many taxes as possible to help prolong their money and make them millions of dollars." Told me nothing, but it's how people get coached to do some of this stuff. And like, why is that a thing? Why is that how people get coached? Is it just for status checking? See, can you add value for what I'm doing right now, or do you not? Would you stop? You're being rude. This is a live event.
This is live.
I wanted to play. We will play later.
Stop being such a dog.
Stop trying to steal the spotlight, Shaba.
Oh, I like how you put that on my knee.
Dude, he does that all the time. He's just like, here, we're just gonna do this. Yeah, it's okay. So it's that status checking, right?
So why do we have this desire to status check?
Don't say we. Make it personal.
No, it's we.
It's not an I.
I don't. No.
You don't have it.
I did.
Okay.
Why?
This is a nice, interesting body language shift. But go on.
Do I
getting a little deeper?
Have a desire to status check?
Because I don't know why.
My identity is important to me.
So, do we get our self-worth based on those around us?
Yes.
Those who associate with us and those who might want to associate with us?
Yes.
That's weird.
We've been doing it since we were in kindergarten.
But do you have friends that can do nothing for you?
Yes.
but they have to be doing something for you if that's how it gets built out. Maybe emotionally something. Maybe they cannot. Maybe they're far away. You talk to them every once in a while, but you still make the effort to keep up with them. So what are they doing? What is the selfish reason for that?
Checking on them. But why? This is getting psychologically deep really quickly.
I don't know if it's that deep, but it could be. So it's to make you feel better, because if you're going to go and check in on somebody else, then all right, hold on, we got a comment. I'm gone 30 minutes. If you're it's a Halloween edition, right? Come on.
I had the wig on first, but it was too weird for me because I kept having to knock it out of my face.
All right, rock and troll. So what we're talking about is we started off talking about being relatable and the stories we tell ourselves. And then from that, we've moved into when we go into a social situation and the first question somebody asks is like, oh, hey, how you doing? And then they're like, what do you do? And then where'd that go into? We went from what do you do to why is that question asked as a way to check status. So you're trying to see how you measure up to the other people that are in this group. You know, if you're out in a group situation, you're doing that. So we're going in. This conversation has leaked out a lot in like the last 30 minutes. It's gotten kind of crazy. So now we're at the final point where we're checking to see, okay, why do you maintain relationships with people that can't help you out in any way? Is it to make you personally feel better about those check-ins?
I think so. I think there's also a driver of a wise person once said that we're all connected.
A wise person once said?
Can't say. A wise person.
Somebody said sometime in space of time.
Space of time.
We're all connected.
So like smart.
Are we getting like quantum theory, string theory, it's all connected energy?
It's all interconnected.
Okay. But you still prioritize those relationships with people. People like you have never met in your entire life, you could prioritize a connection in touching base with them. Why? Because they make you feel a certain way? Do you prioritize? Is it this positive feeling that I get whenever I reach out to somebody and have this connection? Maybe I help them out. So maybe it's the giving piece. I'm giving, makes me feel good. I want to continue to give more, so I put more into that person. I see them growing.
Yeah.
Then why don't I put that same amount of effort into everyone? You're off screen.
Selfish.
Scoot in a little bit.
Awkwardly scoot in.
I mean, you don't have to like touch the leg.
I'm taking a picture because I want to lock this into my memory right now.
I mean, this might be like an every Thursday, Friday thing. Socializing is good. Okay. But what if it's every single person you come into contact with? Why don't we pour ourselves into every maybe short or long relationship? And what kind of impacts would that have? I'm chaining two questions. That's a bad thing to do, but I'm interested in the answer to both.
So to the first part of your question, I think that we have a limited capacity to pour into people.
Why? Why do you think that?
Because it's energy. It's draining. It's draining. It just is. What was your second question? What
would it be like if we could? If every single person you met, you could pour into them
with a limitless supply of whatever you had?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you'd change the world. And because everybody needs what we talked about earlier.
3 A's.
3 A's. So if I'm doing that, the 3 A's, the output of my input of the 3 A's is going to be a feel-good something.
Time out. Look at this mirroring and matching. It's hilarious. I'll reestablish. Okay, go ahead.
So my input to you would be one of the 3 A's. The output. No, I don't like the phrasing of that. Anyway, if I utilize one of the 3 A's, and I'm going towards showing you acceptance, affection, or affirmation. You know, statistics, 90% of statistics, the statistics are made up on the spot. I'm going to make up a statistic right now. 98% of you would say, I like that.
We got a good comment here.
It's a good comment.
This is a good one. Not everyone you meet is worth investing in.
Ooh, yeah, you got to determine why. What's driving that? Why? So, right. I would agree with that statement.
But let's take that from. I mean, I love that. But what if we didn't come in with any type of preconceived notion of that? Like you just invest in anything regardless. You're just like, even if you are not worth investing in, I'm going to put the time into you. I'm going to put my energy into, and this is like, so I think about when it was smaller, when the world was small, pre-internet. Like I'm like pre-1994 when you're dialing, that's AOL. Like you have a small world. It's easy to invest in your limited relationships nearby. And now you have the platforms that you have now where you can invest a ton of energy out into the entire world, even if people aren't worth it.
Your reach is much bigger. Your reach is much bigger. So, man, I'm stuck on the investing. What if they're not worth investing? How many people have I or you or any of us ran into that we felt like they weren't worth investing in? And what drove that feeling? And I wonder how many other people felt the same way.
I'm not saying I don't do it, because I definitely do look at people from an investment perspective. Like I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and we've got guys that are white belts that come in. Dude, most white belts quit like a year, 6 months in. So you get to the point where you train long enough where you stop investing in relationships with those people because you know they're going to leave.
Yeah.
You just, it's a foregone conclusion. 80% of the people that walk through the door are going to be done within the first year.
So it's because we're selfish.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I would say that 100% because you're selfish with our energy. I think you keyed in on something really important, that if you have a finite amount of energy you can put into folks, and so it becomes draining as you invest your time and energy into others that don't reciprocate, like energy vampires, right? Yep. There are people that will sit and take all the energy you give them just because that helps feed the monster, right?
Yeah.
And those people are like, that's like a completely different like stream that we can talk about.
Yeah.
But I think you have to at some point become selfish with your energy because it's not limitless. There becomes a point where you become run down. I become run down by investing in other people to the point where I can't do that anymore. Right? It just gets to be where it's not fulfilling because it's selfish. Energy being put out into the universe, into a relationship, into a person, into a group needs to have some benefit back to the person. Otherwise, why would we continue to do it?
So what drives the feeling of somebody being not worth it for you? How can you look at somebody?
It doesn't positively come back. I think that energy is a reflection. So if somebody is a drain and they suck all that energy in, and that relationship becomes something that is just like crippling to you because you keep putting in a ton of energy into it, and it's not provided back, you just run out of energy. You get to the point where you have to stop that. I mean, there are toxic relationships where you come into those and you put a ton of energy in, and then it gets to the point where like, I'm not getting anything out of that. I've got to stop it. Otherwise, for my mental health, it's not going to work. See what Troll's got to say. It's like a former coworker. You spend so much time with them, and one day they're gone. You have to make the effort to keep that relationship. That takes the effort from both sides. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, this guy is a former coworker. I worked with him in like 3 years. But it's the same thing. But there you go. Why did we maintain the relationship?
I maintain the relationship with you because you push me, which is selfish because I need someone to push me.
Right.
I need someone to push me. I can have all the great ideas, thoughts, and whatever plans in the world, but if I don't have somebody to push me, and I don't know what, now your turn.
Because you make me grow. You make me think. I haven't seen you in 3 years, and what do? We sit down and do a live stream on YouTube. He can't answer. Yeah. Why? Why are you doing this? Because I'm an energy vampire. I steal all of his energy.
Yes. Energy vampire.
I tricked him to get over here to do this. But I think that we all are selfish inherently. You have to be.
Yeah, but I'm still stuck on this one concept because this concept is very near and dear to me.
What concept? Be verbose.
It's the concept of not wanting to invest in somebody. What drives that? Because that's near and dear to me because I was considered in one of my previous careers though.
It's Lowell.
Lowell. There's late bloomers. There's people that you say they're not worth investing in because of something.
Well, they have to make the effort. Once they show that they're making the effort, then the energy doesn't become this energy suck. It becomes this dance. I put energy out, energy gets put back into me, and it builds and builds and builds. Have you ever been with in the same room as somebody and you left and you felt energized? You're like, that was incredible.
Yeah.
Do you think they left feeling the same way?
No. I'm just wondering how many people we're missing that we don't invest
number?
No, I wonder how many people.
12. Probably 12
million.
I've never met 12 million people.
1,213.
113? That's a weird number. Is that a prime
I
number?
don't know. I don't know why this is sticking with me so bad. Like, why do we not invest in people? I try to invest in as many people as I can.
Even if it's transactional? Like, what about the lady at the grocery store that checks you out? Are you going to invest in her? How are you doing? What's on your mind today?
No. You know the easiest investment you can make with that person is saying their name. The easiest investment. And then they walk away feeling accepted. There's affection. I don't know if it's affirmation, but
I'm gonna run down a rabbit trail, or just a rabbit hole real quick. I feel like the best profession is the stewardess as she's walking by, looking people in the face, calling them trash.
Yes.
Trash.
You are trash.
No, I think rock control makes a good point. It can't be one-sided. If the energy is just one-sided, and I think that this works very well with the transactional relationships. You can go through the checkout line with somebody that is like back and forth with you, where the banter is witty, where the energy goes back and forth, and it's a good interaction. Like when I go to Trader Joe's, I think they pay those people extra so they act like that. Like the first thing they do, they're coached. So you go into a Trader Joe's and they're coached right away to talk about specific things that people have picked out in their basket. Like, oh man, I've not tried this one before. And they make this interaction, they put energy in, and I think it helps make people feel better about Trader Joe's, which is just a fancy Aldi. Yeah. But you go to Aldi and it's just like this overworked one person who's been stocking the entire time, who's checking you out. It's a different interaction. See, Chava wants you to put energy into him right now. Not doing
and there's no energy return.
Yeah, right. See, so eventually.
But look at them. That's why dogs are dumber than humans because you keep trying.
He doesn't speak English, so
speak Hungarian.
He does speak Hungarian.
Okay.
I don't speak Hungarian though.
Well, then how do you communicate?
Sign language. Is there Hungarian sign language? All right, back to the question at hand.
Yes.
So energy, putting it in, is it always transactional?
We would like it to be.
You mean we? Would you like it to be?
Yes.
Don't say we like I would like it to be.
You would like it to be. I know we. Me and you.
Okay.
Me and you and Chava.
Chava.
Yeah, I mean, I think we as a people like it to be.
You mean we like the humans?
The human.
Is it a cultural thing?
No.
Rock and Troll's like, show that dog some affection, damn it. Chava, here. All right, you want to fight? Come on. Dog paws. Look at that tail going. You can see it. Like he's enjoying this. All right, Steve Jobs, what are you doing? You gotta go?
No. You have to answer this call out.
All right, go. All right, so it's gonna go to just us, you, me, and the three, and maybe Chopper. Here, Chopper. No, come here. Here. Sit. So I got Chaba. I'm a runner. Here. Oh, whoa, shit. So Chaba is a Vizsla, and Vizslas are dogs that have to run. They're like a Weimaraner. And when my wife picked this dog out, she's like, let's get a dog. It's a dog that needs to run. I want to run with it. And I was like, okay. But I didn't know the difference in a dog that can run and a dog that has to run or it destroys your house. And Chaba is the kind of dog that destroys the house if he does not run. And so what happened was we had the dog for about 3 months, and then my wife got busy at work. And I don't run. I don't like to run unless somebody's chasing me. Like, it's one of those things. But then all of a sudden, I'm working from home, and this guy decides that you're going to run or I'm going to destroy the house. So we started running 4 miles, and now I run every single day because she's too busy to run, and I got the dog. But it's good. It keeps me healthy, and it's one of those things that I guess is better than doing nothing else. Dude, you're not going to fall. I got you. This is safe. This is not really safe. I'm going to put him down. My dogs are insane. What kind of dogs do you have? Let me pull my hair back. I don't know how people do it with long hair. It's so hot. Got so much going on up here. The hair, the long hair is messy. Insane dogs are okay. I think this is what I'm going to be for Halloween. I don't know if we're doing Halloween in my neighborhood, though, because there's a lot of kids that are in the neighborhood. So I'm trying to think of maybe like doing slingshot or a trebuchet, where the kids come and I tape it off and then we launch the trebuchet. Oh, a hound shepherd mix. I bet that dog barks so much. I bet that is crazy. But we're going to do a trebuchet would take a little bit to build, but a slingshot would be super easy. I just like, all right, kids, and I fire it up and let them catch it like that. I think it'd be a fun game for everybody. And then I could mix in hot buttered rum and anything that's good. What? Did you just bark? No, we're not going to do that. It's very rude. There are other people that are here, okay? Will you please sit? Good boy. He's a good dog. All right, so we were talking about putting energy into folks. So have you guys ever had a relationship that you put a ton of energy into that was not healthy? Where the energy that kept being put into the relationship eventually it just ends. I think the best experience that I've had with that was not a good experience. It was actually awful because it was this girl I dated after college, and I put a ton of energy into it. It was over and over. It was always trying to do things. And I think this is where you start getting into the weird love languages and things like that. But eventually you get to the point where it just becomes unsustainable. You can't continue to put energy into that relationship because you get nothing out of it. There's no growth. There's no movement forward. It's all a movement backwards. That's really difficult. It's hard to end things like that. I think with some of the transactional relationships, it's easy because the relationship just runs its natural course. Like transactional relationships, when you fly on an airplane, you sit next to somebody that you'll never see ever again in the rest of your life. And I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I'll go on those things and I'll just sit and I'll put my mask on or whatever. And I'll pretend I'm asleep because I don't want to put any energy into that, because you know that it's going to end at the end of that flight. It's, I guess, weird how you call things relationships or not. But at the end of the flight, it's done. And it's always a gamble because you don't know if the person you're sitting next to is going to be one of those that's going to put info in or put energy into the relationship or take energy out. It's a struggle for sure. All right, guys, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to change costumes, change shirts because I'm getting kind of sweaty. It's hot in here right now. But I want to thank you. A beautiful red hair. Thank you for showing up today. I'm going to be back in about 10 minutes. We got 2 people on right now. Rock and roll. I'll see you guys here in a little bit. Peace.